All right, let's get after it. I was looking at Justin Werlin right there to see how he names his streams. I was looking at him and Tanya trades as well. So, anyways, I am sitting here watching NFP price action. I am particularly streaming because I don't see anything that I actually like. And so I was like, well, this is a good opportunity to go ahead and make a stream because these are the types of days where a lot of capital gets lost. Today is NFP, right? So sometimes you get clean trades on NFP days. Sometimes you get absolutely ridiculous slop. We had a really nice expansion at the 8:30 a.m. driver. So coming over here to Forex Factory, you can see we had unemployment data, average hourly earnings, as well as the non-farm employment change. This has come out better than expected by a lot. It's double, actually. And the unemployment rate has ticked down, which is also something that's pretty significant at the moment. So, when it comes to trading, I actually don't pay that much attention to this stuff. Obviously, I report on this stuff on the other channel, as well as just keeping up with what's happening in the world, because it does matter for the long term. But when it comes to making trading decisions using ICT concepts, I do not at all pay any attention to the actual numbers. It's helpful to know sometimes it's actually worth looking at, but most of the time I'm not looking at that. So coming into the open, I was looking to see if we were going to hold a 15-minute SMT down low, which would have been pretty good for trying to get longs. But the truth of the matter is that we're so close to this draw on liquidity that I wasn't going to take them anyways. So I know a lot of people are probably new. I'm really going to focus more on this channel on the psychology of things. So anyone who's joining, welcome to Panther Trading. We're going to be talking about ICT trading, but mostly through the lens of psychology. And the reason for that is doublefold. One, I'm not going to be the best one to teach ICT concepts. Two, because those are also the main lessons that I have to teach, right? Are things of the errors that I've continued to make in my psychology rather than me positioning myself as some sort of an expert trader. Okay. I'm not an expert trader. I'm someone who loves this game and who is still on the path to becoming fully profitable. So for a little bit of context, I am funded, right? I use funded accounts primarily on my futures trading in particular. And so I'm funded across two different firms, nothing major. It's not like I, once again, am wildly profitable. So, just kind of some perspective. I'm not getting a bunch of crazy payouts or anything like that. But once again, my goal here is to really talk more about psychology and also the errors that I make. And that's kind of what this platform is really for. And then as obviously things improve over time, then there will be more to talk about. But I made a really big mistake about a week and a half ago. It was Friday, a week ago before this most recent Friday, where I was doing so well over and over again. I had a pretty nice win streak. And then I just wanted to place a trade. The problem that I had was that I kept on winning, but my wins were so small, which they're supposed to be because I was trading small, that I wanted to create a big win. And in my wanting for a big win, I actually essentially close all of these. I ended up just putting on a bunch of risk at the wrong time. It was totally the wrong time. And by doing that, I put myself in a position where I had a huge red day. I sized up too much and then I entered like 3 times. Okay, so entering 3 times on a Friday as well was something that I realized that I didn't used to do. So I'm also just now getting back to trading because of the fact that I started a YouTube channel a few months ago, about 7 months ago now, and in starting that channel, my entire, uh, how can I say, just my entire life kind of changed. And the time that I was spending on the charts got completely turned around. I was waking up and immediately going into working on this YouTube channel. And so I kind of took a little bit of a break, and I'm just not getting back into the game. I'm going to start paying a little bit more attention to what's happening on these charts. And so I needed to remember some of the rules that I had set for myself. One of them being the reality that, okay, there's a 15-minute. Let's see if that's an SMT or not. It is so far. It's worth paying attention to. I'm not necessarily going to immediately act on this. A couple reasons why. First reason why is we would need to have some major displacement back up higher. Second reason why we're still so close to this draw on liquidity on NQ in particular. YM has not yet taken the previous day high, whereas both ES and NQ have already. NQ is NASDAQ, YM is the Dow Jones, ES is the S&P 500. So also it might be worth checking the SMT down there, right? No, not per se. So that mistake that I made set me back pretty bad. Like I made a I put myself back for the entire month of January where I had been doing so well. And so in that, I had to pretty much look at myself and say, hey, dude, like you've got to get back to a rules-based approach and setting rules for yourself that aren't just about what's happening on the charts, but also that have to do with what's going on in your head. And at that time, there was, two major mental psychological errors that I made. One of them was more technical in the fact that I executed 3 times after having taken a loss on what would have otherwise been a really good trade. And when I take a loss on a really good trade, guess I'm going to tape read this real quick, then I ought to just be able to let it go, right? Like just be like, hey, you lost on this trade. And since it was such a good trade, then that means that like the market's not doing what you wanted to do. And you need to be okay with just walking away from that trade. Something is not working for you here. So just let it go. So this first presented fair value gap, this is the first fair value gap of the day. I might do a little series, like the very basics of ICT. Has now been traded through, and it looks like it's going to start to create some displacement higher. Now, listen, the real high that I want on NQ is up here at 25,514. And I might actually be willing to go for something here. We've got an SMT at the low. We're going to get a 1 minute 60 higher. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, well, no 1 minute 60 higher. Playing back around inside of this first presented fair value gap. And in fact, heading lower. So there you go, just like that. There was a couple of reasons to not want to do that. It's just the lack of displacement through this range. Like this could easily turn into seek and destroy behavior in my eyes. NFPs are pretty gross usually. They can be, at least. There's also this hourly fair value gap that could be created and traded into to then go higher. So there's a lot of reasons to probably at least wait until the 10 a.m. candle opens. So, 90% of this game is psychological. I was having an incredible month. I literally had completely crushed January, just getting back to taking it all seriously. And then in one day, I set myself back an entire month. And that's not necessarily also the best way to look at it. But on paper, that's what happened. Really, the right way to look at something like that is that you learned an important lesson and you reminded yourself of something that you needed to really keep on deck. And I was talking to someone about this process of becoming a profitable trader, and I was like, becoming a profitable trader is about being able to do the right thing all the time. It's like, can you do the right thing all the time? Can you consistently do the right thing over and over and over again without lapsing? At the very minimum, while only lapsing very, very few times, right? Because this is just that's kind of the game. It's like, how disciplined can you actually be and how long can you actually be disciplined for? And I honestly think that's it's a beautiful thing. It's such a personal development journey. And that's what I enjoy about this game. I've finally gotten to the point to where, you know, the numbers on the screen don't mean anything. I mean, it doesn't, right? I mean, it just doesn't. It legitimately does not mean anything. Um, but most importantly, being able to really feel that is really, really important. It's super important to get to the point to where you are detached from the outcome of the trade. Now, that doesn't mean that just because you don't care, that you then get to go in and just put a bunch of risk on, right? Because that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You have to be disciplined in your detachment, not just detached to where I'll just take a huge loss, because then you might end up regretting. Then you might end up feeling it a little bit later. You'll be like, yeah, I could have done that differently. But that's why it's also so important to have a rules-based approach, because if you don't break any rules, then when you take a loss, there's nothing wrong. And that's when you got to be able to walk away. For me. And really, always should be able to walk away. What is going on over here, man? That's super random and weird. Why would it do that? My computer locked itself out, which it never does. Like, what? What just happened? It appears that the whole thing shut down, honestly. So, sitting here patiently. Okay, mentorships that I've gone through. I'll make a whole video on all that, my history, background, and the different mentors that I've watched and whatnot. But obviously, the inner circle trader himself is a pretty big influence. I watched all of his stuff in the beginning. Went through almost everything. I wouldn't say everything because it's a lot, but went through a lot of that stuff. Oh man, this is ugly. How did I make that error here? I'm not sure what happened with my laptop. But I'm gonna see if the copier is still working or not. I can't tell because it's frozen. It's frozen. Do I just need to restart the whole thing? What? That's tough. Okay, so what's going on? Major chop at the open, which could have been somewhat anticipated by the fact that the 830 driver already distributed to a high. Yeah, that's how I would look at that. And it's NFP, to be clear. Not just any driver, but NFP. But this is a perfect moment to talk psychology, right? So one of the mentors that I have, that I'm actually currently in their mentorship is Efees. And I was listening to him, I think it was 2 days ago. And I was just interacting in the chat, and I was like, I love Efees. He's awesome. Like, you want to learn technical stuff, learn from this guy, and even consider joining his membership, his mentorship. It's really good. Tons of really good videos and lectures, and he's just an incredible teacher, both from the technical perspective and also from the psychological perspective. He was saying, I was interacting in the chat, and he was like, you got to get to the point to where when you see a trade that you missed, basically, that you don't feel the need to try to interact with it at a level where you wouldn't, like where the trade is gone, like your model is no longer present. Just because the trade was there, the model is no longer present, and you got to wait for maybe a realignment or whatever to actually make it make sense. And so if the trade is already taken off, bro, like you can't interact with that. And for some reason, it was really hitting me at the moment, even though that's very obvious. It's like the thing that he said that I liked was you have to be the kind of person that won't do that. And for some reason, that just really hit for me because that is such a big part of this. Is he talks about be, do, have. Who are you? What kinds of things does that person do? And then eventually, right, you'll have the things that that kind of person has. And are you the kind of person who's going to chase a trade, knowing that it's not the right thing to do? Because even if you win, what are you doing now? You're reinforcing bad behavior. And that's actually more important. That's actually more important than whether or not you win or lose a trade. Because what's going to happen? You're going to have a Friday like I had a week and a half ago where you do the wrong thing and you wipe out an entire month's profits in one day. It's much more about being the kind of person that consistently follows their rules than it is to be the kind of person who wins a trade, who wins a singular trade. This is the perfect day to sit and do this. But I saw it coming, right? So that's why I wanted to do this. I'm gonna go and make myself some tea while we sit here and wait for this new candle, 10 a.m. candle to open. So I will be back shortly. And I've got some ideas of what to say, so don't leave. I'll be right back. Why didn't you tell me? My alarm was going off. Just kidding. All right, a little bit of movement. Going into the 10 a.m. candle. I wouldn't trade the short on this regardless. Just because, yeah, I mean, just look at that. It's disgusting. There's really nothing to trade there, period. Look at that candle. Huge 4-hour wick, bro. It's going to consolidate like a mother, brother. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I want to touch this at all. I'll read the tape a little bit longer, but it actually comes down to what I was going to say. So another thing that I think has been wildly helpful to me being able to detach from the outcomes of all of this is not having this being like the only way that I'm going to make money. I genuinely think that's actually really important because it was for me for quite some time. And it just doesn't work very well as a strategy for your psychology. It's very difficult to do this the right way without having the fear of, not winning a trade or not being profitable. It's really hard to be able to navigate this game when that's the place that you're operating from. So, and I heard that over and over again, and I didn't, care. I was like, whatever, I'm gonna make this work. Da da da. But it actually works against you. It actually makes it way harder. It makes the mood swings that come with not doing well or having a losing trade way bigger. It makes your decision making in the moment way different. You're much more likely to place a trade when you don't need to. Right? Like I've been able to go months and months without placing a trade, not just because I'm not at the charts. Part of it is because I'm not at the charts. But even sometimes I come to the charts and I'll be like, well, I don't really like see anything that's just like excellent. So I'm not going to take a trade. And that is the major shift that needs to happen. That needed to happen for me. Let me be clear. A lot of people take trades all the time. They trade up and down every day and they make money every day. And it's still a totally different version of what it is that I'm doing. Where it's not about taking a trade every day. It's like waiting for something that I personally, that aligns with my system and something that I can feel good about. Because once again, if I feel good about a trade and I lose it, then I can walk away. If I feel good about a trade, I take it and I lose it, then I walk away. That is the goal, right? Because at that point, you're in control. And I think that's a big part of what actually this is all about is like, are you in control? Are you in the driver's seat or is your nervous system driving you? Are you living through, right, this animalistic version of yourself that is just fully driven by impulse, fully driven by stimulus? Or can you truly sit in the seat of your soul? So, in a lot of ways, I do look at this as a very spiritual game. So, but what I was trying to say is another thing that's helpful is to just have other stuff going on. Like, for instance, I can't even be on the charts more than the next 50 minutes because I've got calls that I got to do. And I always schedule them usually 2 hours after the open at the minimum. Because like at that point, I'm usually going to be either in something or not. Right. 2 hours in, I trade the open mostly. And so the New York Open, that is. And so if nothing's happening in the New York Open, then, I can move on with my day. If I happen to be in a trade at that point, then it should be at a place where it's either break even or where I'm happy to just kind of like move on with my day and let the trade play out, win or loss. Afiz is really good at that. He'll just leave a trade up. I'm like, man, that's wild. Anyways, here we are, sitting here reading the tape. Nothing to do. Sometimes there's nothing to do. Are you able to come to the charts and do nothing, right? Because I know I'm about 2 years into this game. There was a time where I would come in and I would place a trade every day. That was what it started off as. Is you take a trade every day using ICT concepts. It's like, bro. No. You don't have to take a trade every day, brother. You don't have to. You just don't have to do that. And there's going to be opportunities that you miss. I think being on X is a really bad thing for you. Being on Twitter is a terrible thing. You see all these people making money. They did this, they did that. It's like there's two sides of it, because to a point, when you're at the beginning, it can be helpful maybe either to see like what's possible, as well as to, yeah, like both what's possible monetarily, because you see people making crazy money, but then you also can see like what types of trading there is. Like there's some people who take trades every single day, even using ICT concepts, right? And they're profitable. But then there's people who don't, and they're also profitable. There's people who don't do that and they still make just as much money, right? So just some things to keep in mind and to think about when it comes to your psychology, because there is a point where you're on Twitter and it's not helping you at all. It's not, because you're just seeing people take a trade that you didn't, and you're like, I should have taken that trade, or I should have won that trade and I lost it. Somebody else won the same trade that I lost, type of thing. And it's just like, it messes with your head a lot. There was a point for me where I would just completely tune everything out, and I just come to the charts and it's just me in the charts. It's just me in the charts. Like today, kind of, I was joining the Discord with the fees in them, and then I was like, well, I see that there's nothing going on here that I want, so I'm just gonna live stream instead. Like, talk psychology, talk shop with the folks over here who might want to hear more about that kind of stuff. It's an endless topic. There's so much to talk about, so much to learn, because we're talking about psychology, which is a field that's wide open, right? Wide open field. There's people that are taking shorts right now, right? By the way, to be clear, there are people that are in shorts, as an example, and they're making money off of these shorts. Like, ooh wee, da da da. But for me, another big thing that I never do is don't trade away from my higher time frame order flow. Right? What do we got going on? We got low put in, potentially reversal, high, low, high, low. I'm looking for another high here. I'm looking for another high into this right here, because there is very obvious liquidity sitting here. Now we could have just taken this high and now we'll reverse from here, and just created more liquidity up here for later. But I don't think so. I think that, well, to an extent, I think that we could maybe come back down here and then go higher. But I'm not trading from where I sit right now, right? Maybe overnight we get some different price action, but from where I sit right now, I'm not taking a short away from that high. Personally, that's just not something that I'm going to do. And that's the beauty of, once again, not being in anyone else's trade Discord or whatever. Like, bro, I don't, like, y'all do your thing. Congratulations, legitimately. Like, if you're able to make money off of that, then that's awesome. It's just not the way I trade. There's a nice little fair value gap in there. Bang, bang. Some people are raking money right now. Like Justin, he's probably making some money in here somehow. To this low, right? The data low. Hey, get to it. But like, once I see this at the open, I'm not trading. I'm just like, period. Once I see this at the open, I'm probably not going to trade. Unless something crazy happens where it goes bang, bang. Or bang, bang with an SMT. So anyways, point being, if you don't have your model, let it be. These are the days where the profitable traders are made. These are the days. Are you able to just look at the chart? Can you come to the chart and just look at it objectively and compare what's happening on that chart with what your system is? Are you capable of doing that? If you're not capable of doing that, then it'll be really hard to be consistently profitable. And that matters, by the way. Talking from someone who's not, right? It's a very different thing to be profitable or be able to get a payout or whatever than to be consistently profitable. Let me tell you. I'm basically a break-even trader. And it's funny because what did I do? I broke even on one day. I'm telling you, one day was the difference between me being a profitable trader and a break-even trader. One day, one set of mistakes. And so that's why I started this channel. To show you how I am going through that and maybe hopefully share something that could be helpful to you along the way. Okay. So to an extent here, I'm actually going to need to move on with my day because there's a lot of other things that I can be doing and I need to do them. So if you enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe. As you can see, I am brand new here to the ICT/live day trading world. So any support that you can give me means a lot. I'm going to be doing this a lot differently than other people, where the main goal of this is really to talk about psychology. So yeah, we're on the charts. And yeah, we are, talking ICT sometimes, but really we're talking about the psychology of trading. So anyone who trades any strategies can take a lot away from all of this, hopefully. And the goal is to just really bring that side of trading to the charts, essentially, because it is on the charts, right? Greed and fear is all over these charts. So, uh, I have a channel where I talk more about like macroeconomics and where that intertwines with crypto and all that. But this here is all about futures and day trading and the psychology of making that work for yourself. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment. Leave me a comment if you enjoyed this at all, what you thought of this, and I'll be sure to take any feedback that you may have. And until next time, peace.